Shihara Strand, Chair of Oahu County Democrats, and I'm with Andrew Takuya Garrett, candidate for House District 22. Aloha, Andrew.
Aloha, Lorna. Great to be here.
Tell us where you were born and your childhood ohana.
Sure. So I was actually born overseas in a place called Camp Zama, Japan, which is a U.S. military base located right outside of Tokyo, Japan. So the reason I was there is my father was in the U.S. Army. He served our country for over 25 years, fought in Korea and Vietnam. It's when he was stationed in Japan afterward that he actually met my mom, a Japanese national, who's since become an American citizen. But after he retired, my parents actually went into the restaurant business. So my childhood ohana included my maternal grandparents, my oji-chan and oba-chan, and they spent a lot of time. They're very involved in my upbringing, so much so that Japanese was actually my very first language, and I didn't start speaking English till I was like 5 or 6 years old. So I ended up moving to Hawaii when I think I was 11, and then we moved to Mililani, Hawaii. So went to all the public schools there. So Mililani Waina Elementary, Wheeler Intermediate. Kind of dating myself here, but there was no Mililani Middle School back then. So, like my friends, we all paid 10 cents to catch the bus to Wheeler Air Force Base at the time. Then I went on to graduate from Mililani High School in 1990 something. But ended up staying home for college. Went to UH, earned a couple of degrees there. After college, I met my wife Patty, and we've called Manoa home for the last 15 years now with our 2 daughters. Actually, my younger daughter just celebrated her 15th birthday a couple of weeks ago. So Manoa is all she's ever known. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the 4-legged members of our family as well too. So we actually have 4 dogs who live outside, and then we have 4 cats that are inside. So technically, part of a family of 12.
Please tell us about someone who's your personal hero who inspires to keep you moving forward every day.
Sure. So I mentioned my parents briefly a short while ago, so I'd have to go with them. My dad basically grew up in hillbilly country in rural Tennessee, in the throes of the Great Depression. My mom grew up in post-war Japan, so I think she was about 9 months old when Japan surrendered in World War II. So, they came from very humble beginnings, just through old-fashioned hard work, perseverance. They were able to achieve the American dream and provide a very solid middle-class upbringing for me. And part of the reason I want to run is to try to pay that forward.
What have been some defining moments or events in your life to have shaped you as a Democrat?
Sure. I'm a student of history, and I recall, learning in social studies class about, all the efforts that the Democratic Party have taken on behalf of the American people. We're the party that stands for social justice. I love learning about the 60s and the civil rights movement. The Democratic Party is the one that stands tall with our LGBTQ plus community today. It's very fitting with June being Pride Month. We're the party that stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and allows people to just be their authentic selves without any kind of judgment. So that's just core to who I am. So it makes sense for me to be a part of the Democratic Party.
What does serving the people mean to you?
Okay, yeah, so it's really all about community above self and recognizing that we all have a role to play in strengthening the communities that we're a part of. I don't fault people who want to pursue careers to try to accumulate material items or whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's really about trying to do our part to leave the world a better place.
Why do you believe you're the right Democrat for the job of representative for District 22?
Sure. I think I've been around the legislature in some form or another for about 20 years now, including the last 3 as a member of the governor's cabinet. And the most effective legislators, in my opinion, are those who check their ego at the door. They believe in coalition building. They believe in collaboration. No one can go it alone in this kind of work. There's 76 members, 51 in the House, 25 in the Senate. And the legislature is supposed to be a marketplace of ideas. So it's, we're not going to agree all the time, but as President Obama was fond of saying, we can disagree without being disagreeable. So I think it's important that we bring that kind of civility back in government. And I think I'm the candidate that can do that.
If you win and can accomplish 2 things while you're in office, what would they be?
Sure. I was really concerned about the leaked opinion regarding Roe v. Wade that the U.S. Supreme Court seems poised to overturn here. Well, we can't really be surprised, though, because Republicans have been moving in this direction for several years now. But it's going to fall back on the states, and it's important that we in Hawaii codify the right to choose. It's important that my daughters and their generation not have to refight the same fight that their grandmothers did 50 years ago. So it's really important to codify that. Number two, I'd like to see us move to restore trust in government. It's not a surprise that people are losing faith in their elected officials and government institutions. So I've been following closely what the special committee to improve standards of conduct is looking at. So, I'm interested to see what their final product is. But, we do have to move toward trying to root out money from politics. That really is the core of the problems we have here. So if there's a way we could move toward 100% publicly financed elections, as a candidate, that's the one thing I hate doing the most is asking friends and family for money, because money they're giving me is, money that they could set aside for their kids' college fund or, well, there's a big vacation. But again, we need to try to restore public trust in government, and removing money from the equation is a really important step.
If Democrats want to volunteer for your campaign, how did they reach you?
Sure. So I see you have my website listed there right below here. So that's really the best way. If people want to come join us for sign waving or canvassing, please check out my website, leave a message there, and we'll get right back to you. And of course, welcome all volunteers.
Aloha and mahalo, Andrew.
Okay, mahalo. Great to see you. Thank you.